What's going on, guys? Bazzy here, and welcome to the No BS Advanced ARK ASM server installation. Now, if you haven't seen the previous video, I strongly suggest you should do that first, because that covers the entire basic server installation. It takes roughly 15 minutes, and you can see the server if you click the link here. I will also link the video in the description. Now, in this video, we're going to cover most of the things in ASM Manager. Not all of it, but the settings that I do feel like most of the players would probably like to watch. Most settings that you probably will like to have. I feel like these are probably the most common settings that you could have, and these ones should be the ones that helps you the most. It's going to be a modded server. We're gonna run Ragnarok. We are going to have it on 5x. It's going to be PvP. And everything that I'm going to do now will be how I would have wanted my server to be. The first thing you need to think of is if your server is going to be for Steam or if it's going to be for Epic Games. Because if you look over here, I will scroll down here. Enable crossplay. So these are the things you need to do. Crossplay is that you can play with both pretty much, and then Epic Store is if you want your server to be for Epic Games. Why you want to know this is because if you choose these two, you cannot use any mods, and the reason for that is the mods are on the workshop. So I need you to fully understand that if you are wanting to have a let's see, a Microsoft Store copy so that you can play with your friends there, or Epic Games, you cannot have a modded server. But without further ado, let's jump in to the tutorial. But before we do that, I need you to like the video because it helps me a lot, so I appreciate that. Just waiting. Cool, you did it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, now, first of all, we are starting. Like I said, we are going to run the Ragnarok server. Right now, it's on the island. Doesn't matter at all. We will just click here, and then we will go down, and we now select Ragnarok. Super easy. You don't have to do anything else but that. Now, mod IDs. You go to the regular Steam Communities Workshop page, which is this one. Nothing too fancy here, nothing weird. You just basically, I click mod, because that's what I'm after. I have now sorted it by most popular and all time. Obviously, you know what you want. For me, let's say I want a lot of the echo mods. I am a builder myself. I enjoy PvE servers more than PvP. Most of you who know me probably know that already. So yeah, let's just grab a few. Maybe we want an echo tree. I can't really tell you what mods you want, but the mod ID should be here, maybe further down. But if it's not, then it's always going to be up here. So after the Steam community shared files, blah, 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 it always says ID. And this ID is the ID you want. So just copy that one. And then we go here, and then you just paste it. And now, important thing is to use 1 comma. Nothing else. No space, nothing. Just 1 comma. And then go back here. And let's say we maybe want to have the shop decor. Why not? Again, the ID is going to be up here on the top left. So we just copy paste it, and you can add as many mods as you want. The only thing you need to be worried about, or the only thing you need to be cautious about, is that some mods need you to load them first. Let's say you want the Structure Plus, let's say you want the map mod. They need to be at the beginning here, because they need to be the ones loaded in first. Same goes with stack mods. They will need to be higher up in the hierarchy, and so forth. Once you have done this, then you will click this little button here, because now the server will update and it will download all of these server mod files. So let this run, and I will cut back to you. Now it's finished the process. So you're safe to exit this. Now, if you boot up the server right now, it will swap over to Ragnarok. The server will be wiped because it's a new map, and we're going to be running these 2 mods. But we're not done there, obviously. So now, autosave, 15 minutes, fine by me. If you want higher, lower, that's up to you. The only thing here I would suggest adding more than we did last time is use cache. Because now that we are using a modded server, cache will make your server boot up a lot quicker next time. Now, I will not be using an Epic Store, obviously, since I added the mods here. So I'm just going to sidetrack that. But again, if you want a Epic Store server, then you checkmark them, but you cannot then have any of the mods. Right. So in order to make your server less laggy, because I'm assuming you are intending this to be a fairly populated server, you check this one. What this does is every 24 hours, the lifespan of a dinosaur is dead. So every single dinosaur on the world is alive for 24 hours and then it gets slayed. Now this sounds like, okay, every dinosaur is just gonna get automatically killed, but the thing is, like, random animals out in the world, they get killed. If they're not loaded in, then they will not be removed. This will just mean that if you have seen a dinosaur, they will be there for a maximum amount of 24 hours, and this will prevent the mass spawning dinosaurs, because they will get removed. This will help your performance by so much. I can't stress this enough. Right, now, server logs. So, in my mindset, I like to have admin logs on. That is because that way I can make sure that no admin abuse is present on my server. Your server, you do it however you like, but for me, I'm enabling server logs. I also want to make it so that my logs are public. You can also check here. If you just hover anything, it will tell you exactly what it is. So if you're curious about something, then either post a comment on this video. You can go into my Discord. We have so many helpful players there. I will help as good as I can. But if not, then if you hover, then everything will be explained here. But basically, if you only want admins to see it and not players, you check this one instead. I want to show also that whenever the tribe destroys an enemy structure, I feel like that's super easy. This one is kind of interesting because if you allow this one, if a player uses a silencer, they will not be in the opposing tribe's log. So if you kill someone with a silencer on your weapon with this setting on, then they cannot know who you are. I think that's a fun and just a little lovely feature, honestly. So then you can now like tweak whatever your CPU and such. I have never tweaked this at all, so for me that's done. So now we are done with the first part. The server is set up with the administration part. Now we go to automatic management. Right, so I'm going to assume you are running this on a server. You may or may not be doing that, that's fine. However, the server should be up and running all the time, but by doing so, it will leak a lot of memory. So you probably want to have this set up. So whenever your PC restarts, whether the Windows updates or it's crashed, you have a power cut, whatever, whenever it's starting up, then this will make sure that the server will automatically start up. Super helpful feature. If you want the server to perform updates, and have, let's say you want it to be auto restarting twice a day, then you check this one and you select whichever day you want. You select the time. So let's say I want it to be at 4 p.m. It's military time. So 16, and then I want it to do an update and then restart. So in case the game has updated or in case the mods have updated, then at 4 p.m. it will perform a server restart and then jump back up as soon as they can. Same here, maybe I want one at 900 or 9 a.m. in the morning. Again, I wanted to perform an update. Now this will take some time because it will have to validate the server, but even though the server restart might take 4 minutes, it will be worth it because this way you will always make sure that your server is up to date. And I cannot stress this enough, this game and these mods, they update so frequently, so you definitely want to have this on. Include server in the auto backup cycle, yes, we do want that. And also update, absolutely. And in case the server crash, this one, definitely you want to restart the server. Yes, and we click save. Now, you don't have to click save every single time, but occasionally ASM crashes, and then it's always nice to have done that, honestly. Bam, we're done here. Now we go to rules. So this is basically where you set up each and every setting on the server, whether that hardcore mode, so if you die you're gone, whether that's PvP. For my sake, in this server, yes, we do want PvP, because the last server, since we didn't check mark this, it was PvE, but that's fine. Regardless if you want to disable PvP friendly fire or not, I do not know. I do not want to disable that. I mean, you can just go through everything here. I will just cover basically all of the things that I feel like is probably the thing that everyone would be looking for. If you want to boost your the loot quality, like blueprints and items of each and every airdrop, that would be here. I usually double it. Again, your server might be different, but this is what I do. I also do that on fishing. Now, fishing is super, I would say, OP, so don't boost that too high, but doubling usually works fine for me. Use corpse locator, absolutely epic. Then when you die or whenever someone else die, they have that, you know, green bar going up. Absolutely love that. Prevent spawning animation. I freaking hate the spawning animation. And servers without them, I don't even want to play there. My cats are, yep. And then allow unlimited respecs. That's up to you. For me, I love it because then I can absolutely do more. I can respec so that I can put more points into the crafting, so I can craft better stuff and then go back and forth. I just love it. I will not tinker with anything of the multi-platform saddles because personally I don't see the value of that. However, I do want the difficulty to be higher, so I will usually put this on 150. Because that's mostly what any server are going with right now. Difficulty, you can keep that here. It won't really affect anything because this is what you're after. Now each and every animal will be 150. Enable tribute downloads. These will be for the cluster servers. I will have to do a separate video on that, just a short one. It will come out probably the same day or maybe the day after as this video. So we're not gonna cover that now. But for now, just skip this. Same here, cluster, don't really need to worry about that. Increase PvP's respawn interval. Yes, I do want to do that because this is going to be a PvP server. And this way you can tweak every single setting about how long it would take you to respawn after someone has killed you. Whether that's an AI, a dino, or a player, doesn't matter, but you will have a timer. And I cannot stress enough, you need to have this if you want to have a fair PvP challenge. Prevent offline PvP. If you enable this, then you cannot use alliances in the game. Don't ask me why they did that, but if you use this and still want to have, or rather, if you want to have alliances and still want to have the offline PvP, you will have to use a mod for the offline PvP. This protection means that when they log off, they're off. If any of the players are on, then they are not protected anymore, but as soon as they log off, then you cannot harm them anymore. And the way you set up this is by selecting here how long it's going to take until the timer is going up. So let's say 900 seconds, that's what, roughly 15 minutes or so. And this setting here, that just is for as long, like when you log in, for how long will you be invulnerable. So for now it's 5 seconds. That's fine by me. If you want to have a PvP schedule, you can. Max player in tribe, apparently that's set to 70. For me, I like the small tribes type of server, so I will put that on 5. Tribe name cooldown. I hate this option. I wish there was like a do not allow this at all, because I feel like there's so many toxic players. They kill, they destroy for players, and then they just are an absolute nuisance. So I usually just bump that up by, I don't know, like that, because I don't ever want them to be able to change. Talk to an admin if you want to change your name. That's just how it is. Then we go down. Now this is kind of what's weird here, because now you have allow tribe alliances, but you also remember I said that if we enable this you can't have that. I feel like they should make this one grayed out now, because now you think you will be able to, but you can't, and so you might as well just uncheck that. But if you want this, then you will have to uncheck offline PvP. So just make sure you know. However, if you want to have this, then this is where you select how many alliances a tribe can have and how many tribes can be in one alliance. If you want to be allowing warfare, you can do that so here. If you want the diseases, you can do so here. If you want to tweak all of the multipliers, then you are free to do so here. If you want to, on Genesis, disable stuff, I mean, you get the point. You have everything here. So just make sure you read through and you set everything up. And the best thing about this is if you don't like this, when you boot up the server and you feel like, okay, well, I feel like the corpse lifespan multiplier is too low for like every single drop items. And while I say that, I usually bump this to 3. But if you feel like, okay, my body did spawn way too quickly, then just shut down the server, bump this up, and then save and open the server again. Now, the first time you're gonna open your server is probably gonna take a few moments, but that's fine. It's a trial and error in the beginning. Now we go to chat and notifications. Now, this is also something that is up to you. I will definitely not have this one up on. This one sucks. Basically, what this means is that anyone in-game can talk with anyone. And so that sucks. Because then if there joins a toxic player or whatever, or a very immature player, then you will hear them over the entire world. I do not recommend this. Same with this. This could be fun, because then the text chat is in proximity, so only nearby you. If you want that, then enable it. I will have whenever someone joins, because then you get like the joining bar up top. I do not want the left, because we have the offline PvP. And so they can then wait for the player. Oh, they logged off. Great, we have an hour to raid them. Not really beneficial, so no, not gonna have that. I do want to have Corsair. I absolutely want players to be able to use the third-person view. I'm running a PvP server, so I don't personally think the gamma settings should be allowed. But in case you want to be able to change the gamma in game, you know, with the console gamma 2, 3, 4, and etc., then you enable that here. I like to have the floating damage text, hit markers, absolutely. I want to see myself on the map. So these are my settings. Now I save just in case. Right, so now we're going into player settings. Enable flyer carry. XP multiplier, damage, resistance, water drain, these are all your stuff on your character. Usually I am going on a 5x server, so I would maybe not go 5x XP, because that's a little bit OP. But here you can tweak everything. So water drain, maybe I would like that to be like half. This way I now made sure that my water and food on my character will last 3 times as long. Stamina drain, if you want to reduce that, you can do so here. Harvesting damage, I don't recommend using anything like that here, because we're gonna be tweaking that later. If you wanna increase all the multipliers even further and how much points you're gonna get per point, you can do so here. These takes a lot of trial and error, so I do recommend to save, boot up the server, try and put a few points in, close the server, and then tweak it, open up the server, and then see what you got, because these will take some trial and error. Sometimes you just bump it up and you think, yeah, awesome, and then you put a few points and you realize, oh shit, I have 1,000 weight and I only put like 4 points in it. What up? But this is where that would happen. So take a minute, read through here. I mean, basically for every point per level stat multiplier. So if I do that, then it will, instead of the 1 or 10 that it technically would give you normally, now it will give you 20. If you do it by 10, now it will give you 100, etc. So just be mindful of what you set this on. Same goes for dinosaurs. Now you can set here how many dinosaurs can be maximum tamed on the server. Nowadays, I don't see this as an issue, because players are mostly having them in cryopods, honestly. Maybe if you have Alpha Tribe, they may or may not. I do not know. Yeah, take that with a pinch of salt. I think these settings could be removed, because if you have 4,000 dinos on the server, you're gonna have other issues. Max dinos in tribe 40, that's fine, because this way they can't throw out more from the cryopods. So if they want to have more than 40 out, then they will have to throw them from the cryopods. The only thing you have to be mindful of here is like dung beetles, like maybe you have Asiata paste and similar. They will also be contributing to this. If you want to have a global damage increase on dinosaurs, you can do so here. This is a global, this is all dinosaurs, not just the tamed ones. And here you can also, let's see here, you can choose the passive tame interval, basically how often they want to have their food when you passive tame them. So let's say you want it to be faster, you bump it up, and etc. And just make sure whenever you do a setting like this, read, hover, read, because here lower values decrease it, sometimes lower values increase it. So just make sure you read and understand what that means, because that is super important to make the most of the setting that you are trying to make. Then we go down here, harvesting damage. Do not touch this. This is perfect. We will get into all of the multipliers later on. Turret damage. I usually, since I bumped that up, since I bumped up the level of every dinosaur, now I will bump up the turret damage as well. Because I feel like the turrets are a little bit underwhelming in this game. Now they are more so. So now they will actually pose a threat. If you want to be able to permanently tame like the Titanosaur, etc., you, bam, check this one. And then it's basically just continuing. Do you want to have flyers in caves? Personally, I love having flyers in caves because then players can live in caves more easily. If you want the quets, etc., to be able to be stationary in air and recover stamina, you check this one. Now we're getting into Dino DK. This one is tricky, I would say. It's both good and bad. It doesn't always work. But at times it does, and it's super helpful. See, I will usually have a timer on where players will, if they haven't been active for, let's say, a week, then their structure will start to despawn. However, the dinosaur then will just be standing there, and you could go there and you could claim them. Although they will just be standing there taking resources off your server. So in order to remove them, I always click this. This might not be for you, but this is what I do. If for some reason you want to disable dino riding, dino taming, maybe you are doing some kind of an RP server or something, then you can check this here. Here, you're able to select for each and every dinosaur if they are going to be spawnable on the server, tameable, or if you want to replace them. So let's say we are in aberration. The Asiatas, I hate them. I do not want them. Nah, I don't want them to spawn. Bam! Now they will not spawn. Bam! Now I can tame them. Now, let's say you don't want them, but you feel like, oh, I want to boost up the spawn of something else. Then you go here, and then let's say you want to increase the Carbonemis. Bam! Now everything that would be a Cantina would now spawn as a Carbonemis. So that is a super helpful thing as well. Something I would recommend here is to make sure that Brontos and etc. are not tameable, because that will make the server lag as so much. They can farm berries so crazy. So I highly recommend absolutely to make sure that Brontos are not going to be tameable. That's up to you. That's just a recommendation. I do not think they should be. All right, cool. Same goes here. All these ones are all for dinosaurs. The levels they're gonna get, how strong they will be, each level, like here, that they will, how much health and etc. they will have. Same goes here. Go into your server and then spawn in one, give it a few levels, and bump up the health of it. Save the server, jump out, just bump up all of the things that you think you want to bump up, like health, stamina, weight, damage, and then save the server, boot it up again, and then just make sure the settings are where you want them to be. This may or may not always work. There is, like you see here, there is 4 different ones. We have tamed and then also wild, and they all do so much. And if we need to go into this in detail, we will in a different video. But for now, these will take some time from you. A complete server installation, when we do it in this depth, takes a long time. And you have to be mindful of that. Now we get into breeding. Breeding is fun. Breeding is wonderful. Now, if you want your dinosaurs to be mating more frequently, I mean, yes. But this is what I mean about sometimes lower is more. So if you drag the bar here, now you reduce the multiplier. So now, let's say I have it on 0.5. Now, let's say originally it would take them a whole 24 hours between matings. Now I half that, so now it's just 12 hours, which is super, super convenient. So, because this way, high tier players will be able to breed more, mutate more, and just have something to do other than just destroy for everyone else. I feel like this is a super convenient thing. Mating speed. it's the same. Just read through here, baby mature speed. Some of them are up, some of them are not down. Just make sure the settings are where you want them to be. That's all, honestly, that there is to this. If you want them to have more imprinting, if you want anyone to be able to cuddle with them, so let's say your tribe mates can go up to your dinosaur and make sure that they have gotten their baby milk or the tinterberries or whatever they might want, walking, whatever, they can do that, but you will still keep the imprint to yourself, which is so convenient. Let's say you are not boosting up the time it takes for them to mature. And honestly, it can take days, and then it's so convenient for you to be there, and then you go to bed or whatever, however hardcore you are, and then your friend comes in and he can still do that. So that's super convenient. Now, environment, this is something, some of this do not touch. Like dino spawns, do not touch this, because if you increase this, your server will lag. It's not a matter of if, it will lag. Taming speed, if you have a multiplier, let's say you wanted 5x taming, you will put that here. Harvest amount, do not touch this, because we're gonna do that custom in a bit. If you touch this, then every item you are farming will basically put on a timer. And so let's say you have an Anki, you're hitting metal, you get 100, I don't know, 1,000 metal. Every one of these 1,000 are put on a timer, and this will make your server lag if you are doing this over time. It's better to do that here with a custom harvest amount multiplier, because now they will get all those 5x here instead. So what you have to do, and this is super not convenient at all, is just to go here and just press 5 on each and every single item, or however much you want. Maybe you feel like, the mushrooms, I love mushrooms, I want 50 of them. Obviously, you would have shit tons of mushrooms, but you see my point. You can tweak everything here. Respawn resources, you can tweak this if you want. You might want this in case the server is heavily populated and you want to get back resources. Usually you don't want this, but maybe you do. You can use clamp resources harvesting. I do not like this. I like to use this method here instead, because now you can tweak each and every item to whatever you want, and this is so much more convenient, I feel like. Now, day cycle speed. See, in a server, in the browser list, everyone will look at both how many days the server has been, and also whenever it's wiped. So I would highly recommend for your server to have like the wipe date at your name, but also they will look at how many days the server has been up. And here you can kind of be cheeky about that, because if you put this like this, then the day cycle will be 10 times longer. So 1 day is now 10 times longer than originally would be. So instead of being 10 days, it's just 1 day, which means that your server will look fresher, which will attract more players. So yes, and also if you feel like the daytime and nighttime should be different, maybe you want nighttime to be, I don't know, half, then you can do so here. Super convenient. Disable weather fog, just do that. Fog absolutely sucks. I hate fog. Global spoiling time, I usually bump that up. This is like food, berries, everything that has a spoiling timer. I hate it. So yes, please. And then I usually just clamp it. This will make sure that basically no abusing or anything can happen. So it will always get to the maximum amount of spoilage. I don't know if that's a word, but yes, I'm going with it. So go with that one. Same goes here. Crop growth scale. I usually put this up because I don't want to spend hours upon hours waiting for my crops. If you want your dinosaurs to lay eggs more frequently, if you want them to poop more frequently, everything here could be tweaked. Maybe you want your hair to be super fast growing. You can do so here. And then we come into the juicy parts. XPs. We all want them, right? Like I said, I will be going with a 5x server. Usually, I just bump everything up to 5x. Now, they will get 5x amount of generic over time. They will get 5x amount of crafting, 5x harvesting, killing, whatever. Now, they will get shit tons of XP with doing this. So I'm doing this because I'm also adding more levels to the character at some point. We will get to that shortly. But you will have to tweak this to your server setting. Now in structures, if you do not want your whatever you're crafting or placing out, whether that's a foundation, a wall, a box, or a furnace, forge, whatever you want to call it, if you click this, then you can place them pretty much anywhere. On a PvP server, usually players tend to come and go. So I enable this because now I will have a despawn timer or a decay timer for each and every structure. You can tweak the timers here. Different tiers of materials have different tiers or different times. So I feel like these are good because now it's going to be like roughly a week on metal. And if you haven't been on in a week, then you probably won't be returning anyway. But if you want them to be longer, then you can do so here. I also check auto destroy structures because after the timer, they will automatically just get destroyed. So you don't have to be the admin who goes around and just destroys everything. It's just a hassle. It's just a hassle. Don't do that. And then I usually destroy unconnected water pipes, enable fast decay, because if they're not connected, nothing will be used anyway. It's just misclick. Basically, same here, fast decay unsnapped. I do not want this because sometimes you also want, well, I don't want the unsnapped core structures because I want them to pretty much just go and look for everything, which is nice. Force all structure locking is nice. This is a good setting to the players who are new to the game because they don't know they need to lock everything. With this, then everything is locked from the beginning. So I feel like it's more noob friendly to the players. Hard limit turrets in range. If you want to limit all of the turrets, let's say you want only to have 200 turrets in a given area. So then you will limit the numbers to 200. And then let's say, I don't know, maybe to 5,000 units. Oop, I did a whoopsie. There we go. So now in the area of 5,000 units, now you can only use 200 turrets. And these will also be crop plots with the X species. So keep that in mind. If you want always allow structure pickup, I do not recommend this because if something is damaged, then you can pick it up. I don't want that at all. Here, I would normally I would add a mod to auto unlock everything now, but if you want to have everything unlocked, then you can do so here. This will automatically give you each and every engram as soon as you level up. This may or may not work to your degree. That is because maybe you want tech points, maybe you want aberration, genesis, whatever the case might be, they will not be here. And then if you want to do your own engrams, let's say you want to disable the S+ turrets, the poison turrets or whatever it's called, you can do so here. Then you will just paste the code in here and then shook, it will be here. Now, server file details. This is where you will automatically add admins. So if you click the plus here, now you will need to paste the Steam ID of your admins. So I paste my Steam ID in here and then it will say now player name not available. I think that is because of my privacy settings. This will most likely tell your name. If it doesn't, then boot up the server and it should work. If you're working with a whitelisted type, like let's say you will have a Discord and you only want this certain group to be on your server, you can do so here. Then you will do the same thing. Each line, separate ID. Exclusive join with these sets of IDs are also all here. Now we're getting into mod settings. So let's say we go here. I will take S+ as a structure plus. I will take this as a example. If we go here, let's see where they have moved everything. Config settings. Here. They will have similar features like this. All mods that requires you to do something special will have this. And the way you do this is you go like that and you make a new one with a plus sign here. You make the name. Bam. And then for each thing that you want to add, you add one line. So the key, let's say I want no foundation required. No foundations required. And then the value is now gonna be true, because in the beginning it requires you to have a foundation everywhere. Now, if I do this, it does not. And you have to do this with each and every setting that you want to have. Maybe you want the, let's see here, fence HB. Why not? Fence HB. Now, the original value is 10,000. I feel like fences should be super powerful. So let's say I want it to be 100,000. I did a 0 too little. There. Now, fences is the most badass fence in the whole game. Don't do this, by the way. But you see my point. You can do anything here. Anything you want with each and every mod. Just make sure that you name the mod first and then here. So if I have a different mod, maybe this is Echo in Echo Wonderland, bam, then I can add something here. Value, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. Now, let's say you want to make your character higher level. So currently your characters can get 100 and level 55. And these are all ascension levels. So max level is now 150. That you feel like, or 105, sorry. And you feel like, I wish I had more levels. How do you do that, you ask? Well, simple. You just press the plus here, and then you add them. Now, although something you have to keep mindful of, you see the XP here, they're all the same. So you will need to go in and tweak this to your liking. This take time. There is plenty of sites you can Google to get like different values and such. I would not link one because they are so easy to find and everyone is just changing from time to time, but you can do so. And then same goes here. If you want your dinosaur to have more levels, and these are the levels that you apply after you have tamed them. So let's say you wish the dinosaur had 100 levels. Bam, now they do. But again, you see the experience, so you will need to tweak this. This takes some time as anything else on this server, but it's worth it because once you have done all of this, it's going to be so much easier. Now, in the end here, you have crafting overrides. I don't think you're gonna be needing this at all. Stack size overrides, maybe. In the end, you will most likely use a mod for it. But if you want a tutorial of this, then do let me know. Map spawner is the same thing. Supply crate, it's the same thing. So we have now went through all of this. There's one thing more you need to do, and it's up here. Open global settings. You have the little cogwheel up top right here. Right. See, something that you definitely need to have, and it's not really very, I would say, easy to explain this. I would recommend you to have this guy and this guy checked. Why? Because sometimes when the server boots up, it will be corrupted and your player base will be all to shit. And you don't know why. But this way, every time the server restarts, it will force your server to update your mods and make sure that no corruption is present. Sometimes, if you're running like S+, bad stuff are happening. So modded servers are tending to be a little bit less reliable. But that's just ARK being ARK. So if you're in for this line of work, then you are. But then that's basically what I would recommend you do. Everything else can be left as it is. And now you have a 5x server with offline protection, with Ragnarok, with now 2 mods. And that's all there is to it. It's just as easy as that. Thank you all for watching. If you feel like this was helpful, then please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Maybe even join my Discord and let me know what you liked, what you disliked. I stream pretty much every single week, twice a week, maybe even more on my Discord. You will see the link here. With that, yes, thank you for being here. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.